Hello and welcome back to Trendy or Timeless, a series here on Anything Goes where I analyze clothing trends and decide if they are trendy or timeless. Trendy meaning this trend is cute for now, but in a month, we'll all hate it. And timeless meaning this trend is having a moment right now, but it'll always be cool. We're going to be looking at 2010s fashion today. And I think majority of us would agree that 2010s fashion was a catastrophe. In research for this episode, I was looking up various pop culture images from the 2010s, more specifically, pop culture fashion images from the 2010s. I cannot believe that we all left the house like this. And I know that I'm not presenting you with any groundbreaking news here. I think we've all collectively chosen to forget what we wore in 2010. Like none of us are proud of what we were wearing in that era. However, we must not forget that the stuff that's trendy now was trendy before, right? That's how trends work. It happens in cycles. And we have a tendency to recreate things, sort of reinvent things. But a lot of times the trends that we get excited about in the moment are actually recycled trends that have already been popular in the past. Maybe not in our lifetime, but in the past. And with that in mind, we can't ignore the possibility that 2010s fashion might come back into style. That's something that scares me. That's something that scares all of us, right? None of us are excited about that. But as I just said, a lot of times when trends come back, they're reinvented in a way. And so today what I want to do is discuss various 2010s trends and try to analyze them objectively, right? Like, okay, objectively, does this have the possibility of being timeless, this individual trend? Okay, let's get into it. Trendy or Timeless 2010s edition. Let's start out with galaxy print. I don't really remember if galaxy print was ever cool. Like, I'm trying to remember. I feel like it wasn't cool, but it was sort of cool. I feel like people, it was cool in an intentionally dorky way. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like super badass to be wearing galaxy print, but it also wasn't embarrassing, I don't think. Well, it also kind of goes into, spoiler alert, another 2010s trend, which was basically like cosplaying being a nerd. You know, like wearing nerd glasses, like big chunky glasses with like a white piece of tape around it. There was sort of this nerds are cool trend, which honestly, I actually really like. But we're not there yet. But I think that mindset is what allowed the galaxy print to happen, right? Like it's hard to fathom that anyone ever bought like galaxy print leggings or like a galaxy print backpack, but it did happen. And to be honest, I do think that it's trendy. I have a really hard time imagining galaxy print ever coming back. And that does lead us to our next 2010s trend, which is nerds are cool, right? Wearing nerdy stuff. And by nerdy, I mean stereotypically nerdy stuff, right? Like big chunky glasses with the tape around the bridge of the nose, suspenders, pulling your socks up and wearing that with like high waters. Nerdcore, honestly, that was very trendy. I think that the way it was executed in the 2010s was far too costumey. Like I remember it being very costumey, almost like Halloween vibes. But I think there are elements of that are definitely timeless. For example, like big chunky glasses with the tape around the center. I actually want to do that. Like I want to take a pair of my glasses and put tape around the bridge of the nose. Like I actually really fuck with that. And I think it's really cool. I think pairing those glasses, sort of the stereotypical nerd glasses with like an otherwise sort of, I don't know, maybe trendy outfit, I think that could be kind of cool. I also think things like suspenders are fun. And I actually do think that they're timeless. You know, it definitely depends on the styling, right? Like how are they styled? Like if you're wearing suspenders with your pants fucking pulled up your ass, like that's not timeless. That's not cute. But suspenders as an accessory, like I actually think that they're timeless. I mean, I think it's something that's hard to do right. But I think when done right, they're timeless. I think like a high sock pulled up with a high water, like I think that can be timeless too. Like I think the elements separate from each other are actually somewhat timeless. I think put all together is not. Okay, next we have skinny jeans. I go back and forth on skinny jeans, to be honest. I really do, because there's a lot about them that make them not feel timeless to me. You know what I mean? Like, I think the discomfort that one experiences when wearing them makes it harder for them to be timeless. Like when things are physically uncomfortable, I don't know, it makes them harder to be timeless. And there's obviously exceptions like, I don't know, like corsets. You know, corseting is something that is sort of timeless in a way. I can't remember a time where like corsets have not been in one way or another. And corsets are not comfortable, but like, I don't know, skinny jeans, they're so uncomfortable. I think that they're objectively ugly. Like trends aside, everything aside, I actually just think that they're ugly. I would say 9 out of 10 times I see a skinny jean, I think that is ugly. But there is that 1 out of 10 times where I'm like, honestly, those kind of look cool. Like the way that it's styled, the way that it was put together, like it's actually kind of an interesting vibe. I'm into it. So I'm going to go ahead and say that skinny jeans are trendy. I don't think that they're timeless. And from there, we must address jeggings, jean leggings. These are a fucking catastrophe. I get it. They're a more comfortable version of the skinny jean. I don't care. They look so cheap and bad, and they're just, I fucking hate them. I cannot imagine a world where they even come back into style. Like they genuinely might, but I think that they are such a catastrophe that I think that they're done forever. And I think they're obviously trendy. Like those were obviously a trend, and they're so much a trend that I think that they might not even ever come back into style. And moving down the line, we must address leggings, because leggings, especially like patterned leggings, like fun, crazy leggings, that was absolutely happening in the 2010s. People were dressing them up too, like wearing, you know, like a legging with like a little wedge heel and like a little flowy top that where the shoulder cutouts are just absolutely allowing the shoulder to have its moment, and pair it with a long statement necklace and you have a fucking fit. I actually do think in a weird way, and I'm shocked that I'm saying this because I just said that jeggings are like a catastrophe and you know, they're a major human mistake. And I said, I made all of these very, very, very intense claims. I actually do think, this is going to be controversial, that leggings might be timeless. Next, we have obviously the Ugg boot. Now, spoiler alert, they're back in right now, and they have been for a few years. So it's clear that they weren't just a one-hit wonder, okay? They're not just a one-hit wonder like the galaxy print, like the mustaches, like the chevron. I actually do think a classic Ugg boot is timeless. And I don't think I would have said that 10 years ago. Like when the Ugg boot first went out of style and people weren't really wearing them anymore, I was like, Ugg boots are hideous. I can't believe I ever wore those. But then I warmed up to them again, and I warmed up specifically to the classic Ugg boot. Okay. I'm talking about the Ugg boot that's like the natural ankle length, like not the super high ones that go up to the knee, and not the super short ones that like cut off right at the ankle bone, but the middle ground ones that don't have a platform, that aren't in any crazy colors, but like the classic neutral tone Ugg boot. The classic Ugg boot I actually do think is timeless. Any other Ugg boot, the ones with the platform ones, the ones with the bows on the back, or the ones with the buttons up the side, those are trendy to me. I don't think that those have the power to stay relevant. But I think the classic short little Ugg boot, I actually do think that those are timeless. Okay, next we have fringe in general. I remember very specifically like fringe bags. Like imagine like a brown, big sort of shoulder bag with like fringe on it, sort of like a suede material, or like fringe boots, like a flat sort of boot that maybe goes up to right below the knee, maybe sometimes more of a mid-calf with fringe on it, like fringe, okay? This was very in the 2010s. I actually don't remember ever really getting into it. I actually don't think I ever liked it, even back then. This I can see coming back again. Does that mean that it's timeless? You know what? I actually do think like leather fringe is kind of timeless. I actually do think it is. And I'm not saying I like it. I'm not saying I'm rushing to go out and buy it, but I think that there's always a way to make it work. And I actually do think it's timeless. Next, slouchy boots. This was something I kept seeing over and over and over again when I was doing research on 2010s fashion, like this slouchy, flat sort of boot, right? That like goes up to the knee. I kind of think that they're ugly, to be honest, but I also think that they're timeless. I actually do think that they're kind of timeless. Like when I'm testing something in my head, trying to figure out if it's timeless, what I'm imagining is like, could I put together an outfit right now with this piece or with this trend? And could I make it work? Like, and when I say could I make it work, I mean, would I be okay with wearing it in public? To be honest, I could see a slouchy boot working. Next, wedge sneakers. These already came back in. Like we're seeing these in stores now. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about thrift stores where, you know, we're seeing everybody's donated wedge sneakers from 2010. I'm talking about new wedge sneakers are being manufactured today in kind of a significant way. I absolutely hate these. I fucking hate them. Like, I'm so sorry. And again, if you love them, don't listen to me. This is just my opinion, okay? Wear your wedge sneakers with pride. I personally despise them, and I do not think that they're timeless. I think that they had a moment in 2010. I think that they're, for some odd reason, having a moment again now, but they are not timeless. They are so weird. I hate them. Next, we have neon colors. Another thing that I hate. You know, I think some would argue like any color is timeless, right? Because it's like, we only have so many fucking colors in the rainbow, right? So how can a color be trendy? Or how can like a genre of color be trendy? But I think neon colors are trendy. Like they're very rarely in style, and people become so fatigued by neon so quickly. Like, I don't know, I feel like neon was kind of back in for a second recently, like within the last few years. Like I was seeing a lot of designer brands on the runway like doing like neon pink or like neon yellow pieces. I don't think it's timeless at all. Okay, next we have statement jewelry. But I'm talking about 2010s statement jewelry. So let me describe to you what that looked like if you forgot. I'm talking about long necklaces that have like a bedazzled owl pendant on them, or like earrings that have like a bunch of sequins. They're like these the big like circular sort of earring with like sequins and like tassels coming off and all this. Oh my God, no. I hate this style of jewelry. Hate. And I do not think it's timeless. I think it is, to me, when I think of timeless jewelry, I think of simple, simple metals. I think of like stuff that's more versatile. I think the only jewelry that's timeless is stuff that people have been wearing for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Like anything with like a history to it, I think when it comes to jewelry, I think is... Now, I guess you could argue though that the trendy 2010s jewelry did take reference from jewelry of the past, but the way that it was sort of modernized made it so loud and like, I hated the jewelry of the 2010s. And to be honest, I think I hated it even back then. Okay, next we have big shoulder cutouts. Again, I saw this so much, like tops with like a slouchy neck and like big shoulder cutouts. I mean, I think cutouts in general are timeless, right? Like there's so much that can be done with a cutout that it's like impossible to say. You can't say it's trendy or timeless because it's such a broad sort of thing. But I think when it comes to like the slouchy top with the shoulder cutouts, honestly, to me, and I hope that you know what I'm talking about, I think that that's not only trendy, but also something that will not come back into style. It's so ugly. They're so hideous. I'm being so mean this episode, but like I wore this shit too. So don't worry. I'm shitting on myself here. So we're all in this together. And that's it. I'm so curious to see what 2010s trends end up coming back. I feel like in the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years, we'll see these things resurge. and it's going to be fascinating. Like we might even be watching our kids or our nieces and nephews or, our just the kids in our life. We might end up watching the kids in our lives enjoy these trends again when we're old and gray. And it's going to be very interesting